today I'm going to be working on two 1930s Duncan Phyfe dining chairs. They're the captain's chairs, solid mahogany. I worked on the others that went to this particular set with the French Jacobin cushions. And these two have the arms on them, and the customer request is they'd like to take the arms off so that they can use them under the table. They just don't seem to fit. They keep scarring up the table, so that's what I'm gonna have to do is take the arms off. So let's get to it. Well, the first thing I'm gonna do is take the cushion off. Yeah, the video isn't off in the beginning. I had to do a little voiceover. I have my air conditioner going full blast right now during the heat wave in Vegas. Here I'm taking the screws out of the bottom that hold the arms in. Here I'm drilling out the plugs in the back on the upper part of the arm so I can get to the straight slot screw that holds that part of the arm in. Right here, I have a small chip that when I pushed the screw through, it came out, so I'm just putting it back right away so it doesn't get forgotten. Now I'm going to clean these areas up where I need to put the patch in, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it yet. If I can do it out of wood easily or just putty it and shape it, carve it. Gonna have to check it out, see what I'm gonna do. Now I did notice that this leg has damage to it. There's a split going right down the front of it and up the side as well. So I've noticed that the side is loose too. So I'm gonna have to take it apart right here and probably redowel them. It looks like there's a little rot in the corner. So let's do it. I saw the two dowels on top, so it'll come apart a little easier for me. Now here you can see the damage a little better. What I'm going to have to deal with putting this back together, a little bit of rot and lots of cracks. Now normally I would use a heat gun, but everything was already quite loose and a lot of stuff I was replacing. Here I'm drilling the dowels back out to place new dowels in. This here's the other leg. I noticed it was loose, took it off, and it has a split running all the way down the leg. So I'm gonna have to repair this as well and drill out the dowel and replace the dowels. I'll use putty to fill this void and re-drill it and dowel it. Now here I'm starting on the other chair. I noticed right away that the legs and the sides are broke on this one as well. So we need to get the chairs in good shape before we can complete the arms. I'm taking the arms off first so that I'll be able to take the chair apart. It's holding most of the chair together, so when the arms are off, it's a little bit easier to take apart. Here's just a glimpse of the screws so you can see what I'm talking about. Whoever puttied these screws in was very kind, and I just wanted to make mention that if you have to putty a screw in, it really is nice if you took a piece of tape or something to cover the slot, because it's sometimes very difficult to dig the slot out to get the screw out. And somebody was kind enough to do that here, so thank you. Now here I'm showing you the damage and why I have to take the leg apart to get this fixed. Now on this side, the leg is super loose and there's a lot of rot right inside this joint. So I'm gonna have to take it apart, and first thing I'm going to do is you can see where it's already loose, but I'm gonna cut the dowels with a small saw to get it open like I did the other one, get it going. Now here's that piece that's already broken. That's why I was trying to take it apart, because this is just disintegrated inside. And that's what I'm going to be rebuilding. So that's why I cut the two dowels, so I can just easily get it apart and then take everything apart, put it back together. This here's been broke before, so I'll sand that. Right here I'm gluing up the pieces that fell off and were stuck to the other side. I'm putting them all together in their puzzle places on this piece. And I want to glue this up before I patch it with the epoxy. Here I'm just taking apart the rest of the chair. The glue is let go, so it's loose already. So it's convenient to take apart and re-glue everything up. I'm gonna drill these out and get those ready for dowels. Nice. That'll have a perfect hole. And then this here is going to need to be flattened out and filled. So we got a lot of work to do on these legs. Okay, this is chair number 2. I'm going to be working on taking this down. See how the way it was put back together, it's 2 different levels. Like it's low here and it's high right there. And get it down to the wood, I can put some filler in it and make it the same level as this side. Okay, I got the epoxy putty worked up here. Trying to stuff it on the inside to make it full in there. It looks like it's pretty full there. It's already hard. So let it dry overnight so it dries inside, and then I can shape it, re-drill it, and I'll be confident it'll be nice and solid. So just work on the finish on that one, but that's done. Here I'm using the mahogany scrap. I thought I was going to do it in wood and decided to do it in putty instead. Here I'm just taking the clamp off of this after it dried overnight. This is also the piece that I puzzled back together. I got most of it together and the rest I'll fix with epoxy putty. I'm showing you here where I've used the epoxy putty for these voids. There's one setting up and I did one the night before just to see how it was going to work, and that's the one on the far right. And it didn't turn out too bad, so I decided to go with the putty. This one's nice and dry and ready for carving, so I thought I'd show you how I carved one of them up instead of pulling you through all of them. I just want to seal it so that it doesn't get too dark on around the edges like I did on the other one. Sealed a little bit so it's not going to take all the stain right away. Just wanted to kind of keep it tint on there. I'm still going to get that dark spot. That's all right. Lighten it up with my fingers. Let's see what that looks like. All this lighter is where people have leaned against it. But better than it was, and I'm still working on it. So, all right, this is one of the front legs that were broken, and cleaning it up, I noticed it was broken further down on both sides. It was just held together by the little bit of glue that was holding it on. So I've cleaned it out really well, and I'm going to use white glue to get it back together. So I'm going to be working on putting the front legs back on, rebuilding this, and put new dowels in. Here I'm just planing off the two different levels of the rail on the chair where it was glued together the first time. And I'll plane it, sand it, and refinish the outside so that it looks nice again. Just here I'm making the replacement dowels. Now that the dry fit is complete, I can glue it up. Here I'm epoxying the rail on chair 2. Basically the same thing as the other one. I'm rebuilding part of the rail that was rotten on the side of the chair. You'll see I slide the dowel post in so I don't get it down inside the openings when I'm pressing the putty around. It worked out pretty good. Here I'm using water just to smooth out the putty. And here I'm preparing another rail for dowels and epoxy. Here I'm just setting the dowels. This is just my test fit. I end up gluing them in here. Here I'm just smoothing the epoxy out to be able to put on the front left leg. Here I'm making the dowels, the new dowels, to go into the leg to support the front legs. After test fitting them, I've decided to glue them on. So here we go. I tried to edit it the best I could where it wouldn't be too boring. The film was like 4 hours long, and I just wanted you to see the basics of what it took to put these back together. And some things that you shouldn't do. Like, you should always brace your work when you have a chance and not just precariously have it hanging over the edge of your bench. This time I did it right and clamped it to my workbench. Luckily, nothing broke. That's the release button. Here I'm drilling some holes where I'm going to put the putty so it'll anchor to the wood better. This is a couple hours later, and the epoxy is pretty well set up, but I'm still going to let it dry overnight. Piece I rebuilt right here. Another piece was missing out of wood. I could have done it out of wood, but it's hidden and it's hard enough to glue to, so. This here goes on first. Okay. And this one goes on like so. Just like that. Doggy. Alright. Now that I've dry fitted everything together, I'll get it cleaned up and get it glued together for good. You want to look this? All right. Take this. Okay, excuse me. So let me set this aside and let it dry, and we'll get on to a different project today. All right, this here's a few days later. I'm taking the clamps off, checking everything out. Just here, I'm cleaning off some dried glue. Just kidding. All my patches with my putty, they're complete now. Thank goodness. That was a lot of work. I showed you how I had carved out the one, and it was just the same thing over and over again. Took a while. Now I'm still doing the color match on the arms here. It's a little bit dark right now, but up above here as well. Still have to put a finish on this whole thing. and kind of touch up to make it match. But this is one of them that's almost completed. The other one is down below. Downstairs, it has the pieces that have been carved up already. It's all ready to go and patched and just needs to be sanded, stained, and color matched. That too. All right. Well, let's get this done. All right, I just wanted to show you. Okay, princess. Just wanted to show you. I'm just. Let me flip it over. You can see where I've done the finish here. You can see all these little Mars on here. That's in the actual wood. I'm not taking any of that out. That's all the character in the wood and the age. And I'm working on the finish because there's a lot of. Well, this side was where it was split, and I had to take it down to the raw wood, and I'll be refinishing that. But what I wanted to show you is when I'm doing parts like this, I'm just taking the 600, and I'm just going over lightly, with the grain. I'm running into these things on the outside, what I couldn't wash off, some glue spots, some type of soil of some sort. Anyway, I'm sanding those off, those little things that have attached themselves to the chair. Stuff that wouldn't come off with the cleaner when I washed it. I'm just going over the finish, and just like, real light. When I'm done, you go over, clean this off, and when I put a new finish, spray a new finish on it, it'll look like new again. So we got to work on this here. So let me get some stain, and we'll get going on that. We got these backs to do as well. So I'll show you the other chair, and I'll show you what this one looks like when they're finished. All right, just a quick over. I've already hit this with the 600, taking a lot of the stuff off of the finish itself, and there's a few places that need to be stained before I put a finish on it, but just wanted to let you see what it looked like. The finish was sanded. Here I'm showing you what it looks like when I've restained the spots that needed staining and cleaned up the chair, getting it prepared for a finish. Okay, I have a first coat of lacquer on here. I'm going to take, it's completely dried, but I'm going to take the 600 and just glide over it real carefully just to knock down the top. Make it smooth everywhere. So I'm going to hit the whole chair just once over like that. Over the bumps in here where I colored. Okay, over the legs once. Everything. Then I'll wipe it down, and I'm going to apply some pre-catalyzed lacquer from Mohawk. And it's just a surface lacquer, a finisher, clear, semi-gloss, and it'll put a nice finish on this. Give it the once over. All right, just finished.